Welcome to your breakfast session, everybody. Thank you for joining us. It's nice to have you here, KT.
Good morning.
So I find this extremely exciting, even though we have really no agenda today. I don't like agendas, so I'm going to talk about that briefly in a sec. I feel like I have 15 things on the go already now that we're open and live. Yeah. Okay. Number 15. Hang on. Bookmark. So I looked back on a text message I had sent you about your dream.
The Lions.
The lion. So I'm upstairs. I got up at 3:30 this morning. I wrote the vows for a wedding I'm officiating here in this spring, and got that put aside. Looked at the time. I better get my yoga in before I meet for the breakfast session this morning. And in my head, it was like, that's the card you're gonna pull today. And I have the mountain lion, which is card number 17, right? And so the listeners don't resonate with the 17, but you and I do because we've talked about this number in the past. I've not looked at the book yet. I want to just also mention, so as you are silently, hear my words, much like a mountain lion, I'm reading the text messages I've gotten from a few other beautiful women. And it was like a validation. It was like evidence being acknowledged. And you're wearing the outfit I was wearing the night I facilitated the mediumship circle. The exact same style of like cardigan with the buttons on the side. And the photographer had said to me, go change your clothes quickly, because she was doing, like, I was taking shots all day in there. Like, she was taking pictures all day. We weren't doing shots all day. Sorry. And that's a past life thing. And I said to my client in the space in the middle of the circle, I'm like, and you can actually physically see me touching myself, like as if I'm putting this t-shirt on. And I looked at her and I said, he knows that you wear the green t-shirt every night. And that was it. Like, of course, that just opened up the floodgates of love and all these things. So I'm just like astonished as to how much evidence has just arrived in the last 5 minutes of a mediumship circle I did a few weekends ago.
Wow.
Right? And then the confirmation of the lion here, but here it is. Here's another significant piece to this. Another one of the ladies inside that circle that evening, I looked at her and I said the word jello. Jello, like, just letting you know, without going into details because it's personal, but she texted me last night at 8:30, give or take a moment. I was already asleep. Just huge, screaming at me, jello. And then she explained what was happening in her life. The jello has arrived. And I'm like, peace, right? And so, I know this isn't for everyone. I know there isn't a big lineup of people at the doorway. Oh, let me sit in a mediumship circle with you. But I do believe that there's a space and a place in grief and bereavement for this practice. And I get so excited and so happy. I'm probably too exuberant and happy in the moment, and I do apologize to my clients for that, but when you can connect with that energy, right? Hence why mountain lion. So now let's just come back to earth for a minute if we have to. And so I want to say something to you, and let's see where this takes us. How you're like, okay, I know what happens now. Everybody, this is what we go for Rachel with. How did you touch your heart with courage in the last week is what I want to know. Without turning this into a full-blown session, which I'm really not trying to do. It's funny here, and I think that's like, I just love that because I've just shared with you how my heart has been touched, right? Like I have, clients texting me and calling me weeks after an event and saying, oh my goodness, Rachie, here it is. Here it is.
Yeah.
It is, right? Yeah. And so how is this touching you, Katie?
Well, let's just start off with like Jello showed up in my life on Tuesday. And like, we are not a Jello house.
Hey, don't do that again. I need to stop drinking during these sessions because I will spit everywhere. So I'm going to have to tell our beautiful friend, I'll tell you to watch this one. Okay.
Yeah.
Please share how to, like, and I know you're not a Jello house. What's going on?
Yeah, it was, well, I helped a friend out, and it's been snowing like crazy here, so school's been canceled quite a bit.
Wow.
So, she was needing some help. So her child had come over and she has Jello in her lunch. So we had quite a conversation about Jello and all the different colors. And
Oh.
so I was just like, oh, wow. Like, so when you're talking about Jello, I'm like, that showed up in my life this week. And otherwise it wouldn't have.
Right.
Yeah.
Hmm. And so how did your children respond to the Jello in the house that's never there?
Oh, well, Zoe's like, I remember having Jello before. And so that it went into like, how jiggly could Jello be? So then they're all going like this.
Aw.
Let's see how jiggly, Jello could be. And yeah, so then it was honestly like the whole like topic through lunch. We're talking about Jello, the colors, how jiggly it could be. What if the whole room was Jello? And
What if it was?
yeah.
What a
Oh,
beautiful world to be in with them.
they like, yeah, just where it's like enthusiasm for life. Like it's something so small where it's just like, okay, a Jello cup comes into our house and it turns into, like I said, a half an hour to an hour conversation of just Jello and what you could do. And it's like that whole imagination land of just being in the present moment talking about Jello.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Imagination.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I gotta get over this coffee fetish. Anyway, enthusiasm for life.
Yeah.
That is the perfect way to sum up what happens in a mediumship circle with me.
Mm-hmm.
And with all respect to the clients who are coming in who have lost their loved ones, I get this. I'm a grief counselor. I educate every day on how grief touches us all the time. But bringing enthusiasm back to your life, whether it be through connection, a mediumship circle, or connection through jiggly Jello, right? Yeah. And so how come we spend so much time in a state that doesn't serve imagination, doesn't serve enthusiasm? I was working with a younger lady last night, and she's amazing. Like what she came to in the last week, through her own personal journey. And she's like, Rach, I get it now. It's like there was a conversation between friends and I was on the outside watching myself have this conversation. And I'm like, oh, that's good. I like that. Yeah. And she became aware that it isn't, we can't control anything. We can't control other people. We can't make them do anything. We can't make them love us. And she was referencing, I could be the best girlfriend or the worst girlfriend. And on both sides of those, I got broken up with, she said. And that's what helped her frame a new perspective for herself, which, I mean, great. It's usually a fractal moment, I call them, in your life where you catch yourself or you disconnected and connected again in very quick successive breaths, but you have to be aware enough to catch that in the moment. And she's been doing the work. And so the gift of her work is showing up now. She has a new level of enthusiasm for life, to tie us back into the conversation. However, what she's realizing with this new growth, and this is true, this is what happens, is when you come to a higher level of awareness with yourself through the courage of your heart. I haven't forgotten about you yet. You're not having that one. You are willing to look at yourself in a different light. You can see yourself with a different perspective. I introduced archetypes last night in the conversation. She wasn't sure about what that really meant, so I looked at her and I said, who do you admire in life? Who is the one person that you look up to? I wrote that name down. What is the role she plays in your life? What role does she play in everybody's life? We listed those. Then I said, how do you feel when you're next to her, with her, being taught or guided by her, or just simply listening to her? She listed her feelings. We bridged it all back together, and I said, this is going to be the best part of the evening, I said. We are actually mirroring each other in a lot of ways. So who you admire are qualities that you have within yourself.
Yeah.
And that's where we start to bridge the next step, right? So it's within that experience that you can find your passion, your purpose, the courage to acknowledge it, the courage to step into it with action. So I'm now back to you, Love Bug.
Yeah. You know,
Pardon me.
I stood up for myself. I held strong with how I'm feeling, where I am in life, and I just held strong with my values. And there's like moments of like wanting to falter, and like again, I held strong with what I'm feeling. Where before the noise would have knocked me down, would have been second guessing, like that, judging myself. And it was almost like I was kind of like, no, like this is what I believe in. This is my truth. This is my honesty. And I held strong with who I am. And I know before it would have been that um, like that back and forth between myself.
Bargaining.
Yeah, and I would have bargained between myself, and that would have carried on for weeks, months, years in the past. Like it would have carried on for a very long time. And this time it was like caught quickly, um, just like talking through it again with myself. And it's like, no, like you said what you said, stay strong and just keep going. Yeah.
It feels really light.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting that you would choose the word falter.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah. Because before it was just like I would always listen to other people's opinions.
Yeah.
I was very big on taking in other people's perspectives into account. And
Mm-hmm.
then that's where I would end up like judging myself. Well, are you sure?
Oh, yeah.
So, and this time it was just like, no, like I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, can I read the first paragraph to you about the mountain lion?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, this right now is my favorite new deck of cards. It's a tarot, right? Mountain lion can be a very difficult power totem for you to have because it places you in a position to be a target for the problems of others. You could be blamed for things going wrong or for always taking charge when others cannot. You could become the perfect justification for the insecurities of others. So, how does that feel?
Lines right up.
Right, and a mountain lion, she's kind of a mother nurturer. Okay? Yeah, she runs a
Mhm.
show, like she's in charge. If we stick with the archetypes and the roles and the purpose and passion that I just kind of mentioned a moment ago, how can you take that power within yourself now and be a leader for other women? Because that's where it's taking you. I
Yeah.
believe, I feel, right? And so, thank you for accepting that. That's a powerful feeling.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, we're generally alone in that arena until we find that community that we either are creating or we belong to, right? And it's not to say that the others don't belong. That's not what I'm implying. The conversation is different. And it's no longer about blame because you and I have learned blame doesn't work. We've all been here, done that, right? How can I take accountability? And it's through leadership of myself,
Mm-hmm.
much like the mountain lion.
Yeah.
If I take leadership of myself, then it's okay if I jiggle like Jello, right? Because we're inspiring our youngins. If I say it like that, we're
Mm-hmm.
inspiring our youth to challenge their truth, to be proud of their voice, even if they're the only one listening to it.
Yeah.
And so when you look at the word falter, that's what I'm coming back to now.
Mm-hmm.
In the past, falter would have been your best protection.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't want to reject the things that have kept us safe in the past. Not to imply that you did, but I don't want us to hold ourselves wrong for the ways that we had to move in the past.
Yeah.
Right? Because it took courage to question that. It took courage to question. Much like, giving the evidence at a mediumship circle and it doesn't land, right? I'll be honest, Jello didn't land that night. It didn't. And in the past, I would have been like, oh my goodness, sweating bullets, what have I done? And now I'm just like, yeah, it will. It will. If you give yourself the opportunity to broaden that perspective and wait, right? Wait for that to arrive. What a gift. What a gift. So, ever since whenever you stood up for yourself and respected your values and boundaries, right? Because you're now creating boundaries that support the values and the belief systems that really are true to you today. What has happened in your life since then? How?
As you were chatting there, I was like it's just that I want to continue to like me. You know how I had said a few podcasts there where I'm like listening to myself actually chat. I'm like, well, I kind of like that chick. Like, she's pretty cool. So it's just like I've worked so hard to create my own like self-image. And I am at a space where I have a different perspective of myself now because I do have the courage. I do have the confidence. I just view myself in a different way. And I know there's still moments where there's little cracks in there, and that's just more to work on. But it's just like I know who I am now. I'm true to myself, and it really is like I'm the only person that has to like me because I have to live with myself every single day for the rest of my life.
That's right.
So it's like I want to be the one who's in the front row cheering for myself, loving myself the most. And then I know from then it's just like the better relationship I have with myself, that's only going to ripple out then to the other relationships that I have in my life.
That's right. At 6:17 a.m., that's quite a conviction. It's going to ripple out into the other areas of my life, right?
Yeah.
Because embracing that mountain lion, and we're not just pulling the lion out of our hats here. Like this has been, you've had dreams, and then the two lions in front of my hobbit, should I call it? Because it's got all my garden stuff in it and all that lovely stuff that makes my heart sing with imagination and enthusiasm. So embodying the energy of the mountain lion has really supported, because if I look back on my phone, I can't remember how many, I think it was 2 weeks ago almost that I sent that page, right? And so reading that, reflecting to it, understanding what it means energetically as a vibration and a pulse within KAYTEE's humanness, and how can she intellectually use that energy and power to stand on those values and beliefs, because those are the foundation of you.
Yeah.
Wow. It's been quite a journey for you these last 2 weeks.
Yeah, it has.
And I also want to just notice, like, you look great. You look great. You look like, there was, honestly, the viewers are like, what the fuck is she talking about? Oh my gosh, she looks great. Why is she saying that? Because sometimes KAYTEE's skin would respond. Right?
Yeah.
You would have a flare up, you would have a response to choosing you. And that's nothing to be embarrassed about.
And it was once I finally like had chosen myself, that's when it started going away. Because I will say, like, my face, like on my forehead and my one cheek, it was just kind of like constantly red up here. And yeah, it was when I fully just stepped into into me, basically, when I stepped into my own courage, my own power, um, staying true to with how I feel instead of trying to make myself feel differently.
Right.
That's when it was just my skin is clear again.
Yeah, I'm no longer willing to manipulate my feelings so that yours feel better.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that was a good one, right? And so,
Yeah.
right, beautiful. Again, no disrespect to anyone who's not on this journey and this path of
Hmm.
self-healing and awareness. I do know, though, when we vibrate through consciousness at a higher level, a higher vibration, we're attracting only that type of conversation now. Okay,
Yeah.
right? So the view is different, the
Hmm.
experiences are different, and I know that since I've reopened the space in the store and I'm attracting different clients, different conversations, different services, I'm not as leery, I've noticed, to post
Hmm.
on social media the way I actually am. You know,
Right.
I'm honest. You don't like it? I don't lose sleep over it anymore. But
Right.
I do want people to be kind about it. So
Hmm.
I've removed myself from a few groups on Facebook, social media, because the constant bashing, the constant negativity, the constant picking on people about their spelling, about their
Hmm.
looks, about their way of lifestyle. I can't change your viewpoint, but I can change
That's right.
how I'm in it, right? I can remove my,
Yeah.
and so, and of course with business, social media is a very fickle place to be. I'm
Hmm.
not a fan. I really don't want to use it to support my business, but that's just the way things go in this day and age.
Yeah, for
But then
sure.
there's this old school rate showing up. Paper. I wrote the vows yesterday on paper. And then I'm going to type it in the computer and send it to her. Why? Because my head needs to write,
Yeah.
it just is the way I am. But you know what? That's my authenticity.
Yeah.
This is my value. And in the last month, ever since I really stood firm on my boundaries in my space, this is how it is, this is what happens here, this is what we're doing. Pardon my language, there's no fuckery here. Like, I want no chaos in this space, so it can't show up. So, what does that
Hmm.
mean? Rachel can't be chaos. Rachel can't have arguing and second guessing and wondering if she did the right thing or not. That can't be a part of my language internally anymore.
Yeah.
I did notice this. I have gotten probably 15 new followers in the last 3 weeks, which isn't the largest. But I'm in no race because the followers I want are the followers that are resonating.
Yeah.
The friends on my list, they're real because they're resonating. I don't
Yeah.
want no. I mean, if you don't like it, please delete me. It's okay. You're
Hmm.
just making room for others to come in and sharing this beautiful exchange. And it's okay if we're jello-y jigglers. It's okay if we're like that. Because it's okay to be different. And it's
Yeah.
okay to have a voice. And it's okay to use your imagination.
Hmm.
You know what I'm thinking about too, also, just quickly? Is when I wrote down snow jello colors. This is my beautiful Katie's life. You're living the best life.
Yeah.
You're living the best life. I would have liked to be there for the colors part myself. Because
Hmm.
colors have a vibration, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, what color did you resonate with? Is my question.
Um, well, it was the red jello that, the child was
mm,
actually eating. I'm like,
root chakra.
hmm. Hmm.
Safety, structure,
Yeah.
stability. Look at that come for full circle for you.
Hmm.
And so, okay, we is there anything else you want to add?
I just want to add about, because I know it's on our last recording,
Sure.
about the barley soup.
Oh, yeah.
Just want to tie that in because
Oh,
that was awesome.
sorry. I know, right? That was
Yes.
fantabulous. But it was in your session, so I didn't know if I could bring it up. But please, please do.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
So yeah, the our last recording we had done, you were talking about how your grandma would always make beef barley soup. And I know as soon as you bring like some sort of like object in, I'm like, okay, that's going to show up in my life somewhere. But I'm like, we don't eat beef barley soup. So I'm like, I'm just not too sure about that one. But how it showed up was just like magical, right? So it had shown up in a name translation that was barley. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And like, this wasn't even me doing it,
Right.
it was someone else like looking up the meaning of the name. And I'm laying there, I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me that their name means barley? Like, unbelievable. And then I had to fill in the blanks of what actually happened. And yeah, so then the name barley had showed up, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And then I was house sitting and I was letting the dog out, and the one cupboard was open a little bit. And I'm like, oh, that's strange. Like, we're the only ones in here. Okay, I'm just gonna carry on. Let's take care of the dog and, let's go home. And then the next day when I went over, I checked the cupboard and it was that red cup that said Rachel on it. And it's the only cup. Oh, red. Oh my gosh. Red Jello, red.
I just thought, yeah, she's got it
Yeah.
now. She's
Yeah.
hooked her. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm just like, that is like all these experiences, they just reaffirm that like energy piece for me, that connection that you can have with other humans, that you don't even live by them. Like,
Right, because the listeners. I'm in Alberta, little
yeah.
tiny tiny hamlet outside of Peace River called St. Isidore. She's in Ontario,
Yeah.
in a great big place I don't even know, but it has a lot of snow right now. Right, we're
It
so far
does.
apart, but
Yeah.
we're not. But we're not. But we're not. Right?
That's right.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know it's
So
so exciting. Hey, feel like
those
out
are
in the
the
cupboard.
parts that that's that enthusiasm for life. Like when I see those things show up, I'm like, oh my gosh. And then it really does kind of take those, like, it's so true, because I mean, people say it quite often, you're never alone. You're not alone with your feelings, you're not alone, with whatever you may be going through in life. And those are those affirmations, like for myself, it's affirming that I'm really not,
No.
because you show up in the cupboard next door.
I'm like, hi.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my
I
gosh.
can see you, Katie. And that's so much fun because, at the start when I referenced your green, the top,
Yeah.
and I was wearing it that night at the mediumship circle, and the lady there had drove in 7 hours to attend this event, and I looked at
Wow.
everyone and said, I've never been in her house. Like, I have no idea. So
Mm.
thank you for gifting me the validation. And I
Yeah.
always say I don't need it, but boy, I get excited when it lands. Like, oh, I just want to have a
Yeah.
party. Let's dance. Let's have some fun because look at the enthusiasm inside of you when you open that cupboard door and there was Rachel. Like, what are
Yeah.
the odds? Like, I
Yeah.
don't even know these people that you're house sitting in. I couldn't even have texted them and said, make sure you leave the red cup of Rachel right there. Right there. Right front and center so Katie knows. No.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Honestly, have the courage to love your heart.
Yeah.
Have the courage to
Yeah.
live your life. Have the courage to attend these weird breakfast sessions that maybe resonate, maybe not. I don't really care because her and I have a great time.
Yeah.
I love you, Katie.
I love you too. It's like a great like kickoff, like, to the morning.
Oh, those
Like,
are great. It's really exciting. I'm just thinking last night, after my sessions with clients, I go upstairs and I have supper. There was barley in my chicken soup last night. Yeah. Have the best day, everyone. Take care. It's been a great breakfast session. We'll see you again in a week. Take care.